students, Sairam, this is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with our lesson number 7, lenses. This is our session 3 students. Now in the last session we have studied many terms. I hope you have went through it properly. We have studied magnification, power and all many things, concepts we have studied, and I hope all are very easy. As I told you, ray diagrams you practice, okay? At least that table you should learn by heart and keep. Okay students, so we'll proceed. So now we are going to study, students, about the defects of the vision and their correction. Okay, now we have studied about human eye, right? Now there must be some defects also in this vision. Okay, now some people cannot see things clearly due to loss of accommodation power of the lenses in their eyes. We have studied accommodation power, okay, in the last presentation. Because of the defective refraction by the lenses, their vision becomes faint and fuzzy. In general, there are 3 types of refraction defects. Okay, so what happens, their vision, it becomes faint and fuzzy, means they are not able to clearly distinguish the objects. Okay, some may not be able to distinguish the near objects, some may be far objects. Okay, we'll see. Now first one is the nearsightedness or myopia, we called it. Okay student, in this case the eye can see nearby objects clearly, but the distant objects appear indistinct, means they cannot see them properly. This means that the far point of the eye is not at infinity but shifts closer to the eye. In nearsightedness, the image of the distant object forms in the front of the retina. Okay student, so you can see in the diagram, nearby objects can be seen clearly. Okay, so the nearby objects can be seen clearly by the eye, but myopic eye, you can see any differences there. See here and see here how it is. Okay, in the myopic eye, it cannot the distance object, it cannot see clearly, as you can see that the far point of the eye is not at infinity but shifts closer to the eye. Okay students, as see here, it has shift closer to the eye. See here how it is and see here how it is. Okay, so hence this is called as myopia. Okay, and when we are doing a correction, what we are using students, a concave lens. You can see here I am using a concave lens to clear it, and then I'll be able to see. See here, I can see the nearby objects. See how it has happened in the myopic eye. Here also difference. See here are the differences. Okay, how you can see using your myopic eye. Okay, we'll proceed. Now, there are 2 reasons for this defect. First one, the curvature of the cornea and the eye lens increases. The muscular muscles, okay, near the lens cannot relax, so that the converging power of the lens remains large. Okay, it becomes large. Can you see here it is converging, right? See, but here is it converging? No. Okay, so the eyeball elongates so that the distance between the lens and the retina decreases. Okay, so what is happening, the distance between the eyeball is elongating, and the distance between the lens and the retina, it increases. Okay students, I hope it is understood. Okay, we'll proceed. This defect can be corrected by using spectacles, yes, with a concave lens of a proper focal length. Okay students, this lens diverges the incident rays, and these diverged rays can be converged by the lens in the eye to form the image on the retina. Okay students, the focal length of concave lens is negative. So a lens with a negative power is required for correcting nearsightedness. Okay, the power of the lens is different for different eyes depending on magnitude of their nearsightedness. You know, you have a number. Okay, spectacles, you have got a numbers, right? So it depends, right? Every person to person it will differ. So I hope you have understood. We are going to use a concave lens. So again, what will happen? It will, see here, a point will come where you will be able, all the rays can come and merge, and yes, the distance object will become clear to your eyes. Okay students, I hope it is understood to you. Okay, we'll proceed. Second one you have, that is farsightedness or hypermetropia. In this defect, the human eye can see distant objects clearly but cannot see nearby objects distinctly. Okay, now they cannot see the near objects. This means that the near point of the eye is no longer at 25 centimeter but shifts farther away. We have studied in the last presentation, right? It should be at 25 centimeter. As shown in the figure 7.14, the images of the nearby objects get formed behind the retina. What will happen? The image will form behind the retina. Can you see? See where the image is going. See, okay, your retina it should touch, right? Here it should form, okay, but see where it is forming, okay. So that is your hypermetropic eye, okay. Is it clear, students? Yes. There are two reasons for farsightedness. Curvature of the cornea and the eye lens decreases so that the converging power of the lens becomes less. So you will just remember converging power of the lens is becoming less, okay. Due to the flattening of the eyeball, the distance between the lens and retina decreases, okay. So here the eyeball, the distance between, what will happen between the lens and retina is decreasing because of the flattening of the eyeball, okay students. Now this defect can be corrected by using a convex lens. Now there in myopia we use a concave lens, here we are using a convex lens with a proper focal length. This lens converges the incident rays before they reach the lenses. What will do? They will converge, okay. Now the lens then converges them to form the image on the retina, okay. What will happen? See, now is it again coming on the retina when I am using a convex lens? Yes. So the focal length of a convex lens is positive. Thus, the spectacles used to correct farsightedness has positive power. You know, you have the numbers in positive and negative, okay. The power of these lenses is different depending on the extent of the farsightedness, okay. All people don't have same number spectacles, right? Everyone has a different power, okay student. So I hope both the part is clear to you, myopia and hypermetropia, okay. Okay, is it clear? Yes, we'll proceed. Now, presbyopia. Generally, the focusing power of the eye lens decreases with the age. You know, as the age increases, the focusing power of your eyes will become less and less. The muscles near the lens lose their ability to change the focal length of the lens. The near point of the lens shift farther from the eye, okay, more farther, 25 centimeter is there, but more it goes, shifts the value, okay. Because of this, old people cannot see nearby objects clearly. Sometimes people suffer from nearsightedness as well as farsightedness, both together, okay. In such a case, bifocal lenses are required to correct the defect, okay. In such lenses, the upper part is a concave lens and corrects nearsightedness, while the lower part is a convex lens which corrects the farsightedness. So this we called it as a presbyopia, where the person is suffering from both, okay. That means he cannot see the distant object also and nearby objects also. So we are using a bifocal lens. I hope all the three defects you have understood. Diagrams you will properly study, because based on these diagrams questions can be asked. Okay students. Now, apparent size of an object. Consider two objects PQ, okay, and P1Q1. Now you have two objects having same size but kept at a different distance from an eye, as shown in figure 7.15. You can see students. As the angle alpha subtended by PQ at the eye is larger than the angle beta subtended by P1Q1, okay, you can see the angles which are subtended. See, this is the beta which is smaller one, and this is the alpha which is a bigger one. PQ appears bigger than P1Q1, okay. What will happen? As the angle alpha subtended is larger, you will see that PQ appears to be bigger than P1Q1, okay. Thus, the apparent size of an object depends on the angle subtended by the object at the eye. At what angle they are forming with your eye, it is more important. Okay, students? And then they become, you know, its size will depend on that angle. Okay? Now, we'll just proceed. Uses of concave lenses. Now, what are the uses, students? We will see. First one, medical equipments, scanner, CD player. These instruments use laser light. For proper working of these equipments, concave lenses are used. Second, the peephole in the door. This is a small safety device. Now you must be having, okay, which helps us see a large area outside the door. Yes, you can also see who is standing outside, right? This uses one or more concave lenses. Spectacles. Concave lenses are used in spectacles to correct nearsightedness. Torch. Concave lenses is used to spread widely the light produced by a small bulb inside a torch. Okay. Then camera, telescope and microscope. These instruments mainly use convex lenses. Okay students. But to get a good quality images, a concave lens is used in the front of the eyepiece or inside it. Okay, so both are used, convex also and concave also. Okay, now use of a convex lenses. Now we saw about the concave lenses. You have to study them. Okay, study by heart. Direct question they may not ask, but yes, they can ask you related to anything. They can ask you the question. Okay. Then we are going to start with a simple microscope. Now here again diagrams are important, students. A convex lens with a small focal length produces a virtual, erect and a bigger image of an object as shown in the figure. Okay, so what will happen if I am using a convex lens? It is going to, of a small focal length, students, it will give me a virtual, erect and a bigger image of the object as shown in the figure, right? Such a lens is called simple microscope or magnifying lenses. On one can get a 20 times larger image of an object using such microscopes. These are used for watch repairs, testing precious gems and finding their defects. Okay student, so see, if this is my object PQ, you can see how much bigger I have got the image, that is P dash Q dash. Okay, you can see how I am getting a bigger image. Okay, so this is a simple microscope, or we will say it as a magnifying lens. Okay, compound microscope, students. Simple microscope is used to observe small sized objects, but minute objects like blood cells, cells of the plants and animals, and minute living beings like bacteria cannot be magnified sufficiently by simple microscope. Compound microscopes are used to study this object. So what we will use? We will use a compound microscope. Okay. Now a compound microscope is made up of two convex lenses, objective and eyepiece. Can you see in the diagram, students? You have the two lenses. Okay, convex lenses. One will be the objective lens and one will be the eyepiece. Okay, now we'll proceed. The objective has smaller cross section and smaller focal length. Okay, you can see from the size only here, as it you can distinct. Okay, the eyepiece has bigger cross section. Its focal length is also larger than that of the objective. Higher magnification can be obtained by the combined effect of the two lenses. So because of the two lenses, students, we can get the object more bigger. Okay, so you can see here the object is kept here, but when you see the image, students, see this is the image. Okay, so how many times? See, first it is formed here, and then when again because of eyepiece, refraction has taken place and you can see the size of the image. Okay, as two lenses we are using. Okay, see how much bigger image you can see. Okay, diagram again I am telling you important. Based on this diagrams, questions can be asked. So as shown in the figure 7.17, the magnification occurs in two stages, right? Now only I told you the image formed by the first lens acts as the object for the second lens. The axes of both lenses are along the same line. The lenses are fitted inside a metallic tube in such a way that the distance between can be changed. We can change the distance between the objective lens and the eyepiece, okay, to get more and more magnified images. Okay students, I hope it is clear till here. Okay, we'll proceed. Now the optical instrument. Now before this is the telescopes, which is a cancelled part for this year. Okay students, convex lenses are used in various other optical instruments like camera, projector, spectrograph, etc. So you should remember this. Now the persistence of vision. Now what is this persistence of vision, student? We can see an object because the eye lens creates its image on the retina. On the retina, when you get an image, you can see it, right? The image is on the retina as long as the object is in front of us. The image disappears as soon as object is taken away, right? However, this is not instantaneous and the image remains imprinted on our retina for 1/16th of a second after the object is removed. Okay, student, what do you think? Now, for example, I am seeing a tree and after some time I am not seeing it. What I think, yeah, now I have stopped looking at it. But no, its image is still on my retina for how many seconds? 1/16th a second. Okay, the sensation on retina persists for a while. Okay, this is called the persistence of vision. Okay, student, how do we perceive different colors? Now, how you can see different colors? The retina in our eyes is made up of many light sensitive cells. These cells are shaped like a rod and like a cone. The rod like cells respond to the intensity of the light and give the information about the brightness or dimness of an object to the brain, that how much dark that object is or how much light color that object is. Okay, the conical cells respond to the color, okay, and give the information about the color of the object to the brain. So which cells? Conical cells. Brain processes all the information received and we see the actual image of the object. Rod-like cells respond to the faint light, but the conical cells not. Thus, we perceive colors only in bright light. Only colors we can see in the bright light. Why? Because rod cells, they respond to the faint light, but conical cells do not. Okay. The conical cells can respond differently to red, green and blue colors. When red color falls on the eyes, the cells responding to the red light gets excited more than those responding to other colors, and we get the sensation of the red color. So everyone, all the cells have their own, like red color. Some cells will they will respond to red color, some cells will respond. So like this, those we will see because of this sensations we can see the red color. Some people lack conical cells regarding to certain colors. These persons cannot recognize those colors or cannot distinguish between different colors. Okay, these persons are said to be colorblind. Yes, you must have heard this word before. Okay, apart from not being able to distinguish between different colors, their eyesight is normal. Their eyesight is normal, but only problem is with the, because of the some of these cells which cannot recognize the colors. Yes, they can say they are suffering from color blindness. Okay, students, I hope till here everything is clear to you. Okay, now we'll proceed. Yes, so now we'll start with the sums. We have completed with the chapter, students. So now these are the textual sums which I am starting with. Okay, now the first one, doctor has prescribed a lens having a power plus 1.5D diopter. Okay, what will be the focal length of the lens? What is the type of the lens and what must be the defect of vision? Now power is given to you. Okay, students, so we will see how to do. Now solution given. Power of the lens is equal to plus 1.5D. Focal length is equal to 1 upon power of the lens. This formula you will use, students. Okay, then 1 upon plus 1.5D plus you should write. Okay, so your answer will be plus 0.67 meter. Okay, so students, the focal length of the lens is plus 0.67 meter. Convex lens is the type of the lens which you will require. Okay, and what is the defect? It is hypermetropia. Okay, hypermetropia, or you will write it as farsightedness. Any one you write, you get the full marks. Okay, main here you will remember this formula, just have to divide, get the answer as it is plus 0.67. students, you will use a convex lens and they are suffering from the farsightedness. Okay, we'll proceed. 5 cm high object is placed at a distance of 25 cm from a converging lens of focal length of 10 cm. Determine the position, size and the type of the image. Okay, we will see what is the type of the image. Okay, now data, converging lens f is equal to 10 cm, Okay, focal length is given, converging lens they have given. U is equal to minus 25 centimeter will take, students. H1 is 5 centimeter. We have to calculate the V, okay, and we have to calculate the H2. Okay, now you know, you already have the formula. 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. This is the formula you know. Now we have to find 1 upon VV value, right? So what we have done, see, we have just added, put up the values. 1 upon F means 1 upon 10 plus 1 upon minus 25. So what, when you solve this, what you are going to get? 3 upon 50 centimeter. Okay, so image, now this is 1 upon V, right? This is 1 upon V. So if I want V, it will become 50 upon 3 centimeter. When I divide it, my answer is going to be 16.7 centimeter. That is my V value. Okay, student, this is the approximate signs. Okay, now I hope it is very clear. Simple one, you will solve it in the notebooks. Okay, now H2 upon H1, this you know, magnification we have studied, is equal to V upon U, right? So H2 is equal to, now we have to find the H2 value, right? So H1 we already know. So we have done 50 upon 3, we got V value 50 upon 3. U is minus 25 and H1 is 5 centimeter. When you solve it, students, you are going to get it as minus 3.33 centimeter, okay, which we can approximately write as minus 3.3 centimeter. Okay, so the height of the image is minus 3.3 centimeter. Now height cannot be negative, so students, the image is inverted image. Okay, so the image is real, inverted and smaller than the object, because we have got the height in the negative value. Okay, students, all this, whenever you will do the calculations in your notebook, you will understand it more better. Okay, we'll proceed. 3 lenses having the power 2, 2.5 and 1.7T are kept touching in a row. What is the total power of the lens combination? Now you know, we have studied P is equal to P1 plus P2, right? We'll use same. Okay, now if the powers of the two lenses are P1 and P2, then the effective power of their combination, we know, students, P is equal to P1 plus P2. Thus, when two lenses are kept touching each other, the power of the combined lens is equal to the sum of their individual powers. So here, you know, P1 is equal to 2D and P2 2.5D and P3 is 1.7D. Okay, so when you add it up, students, what you are going to get? When you have to add it, okay, nothing bigger in this sum. So you get 6.2 diopters, okay, P value. So the total power of the lens of combination is 6.2 diopters. Okay, students, I hope very clear. Okay, sum. Now, an object kept 60 centimeter from a lens gives a virtual image 20 centimeter in the front of the lens. What is the focal length of the lens? Is it a converging lens or a diverging lens? That we have to find it out. Okay, now 60 centimeters, right? So V value is given 20 centimeter, U is 60 centimeter. Okay, V and U already we have studied. What are V and U? Distance of the image and distance of the object, right? F we have to calculate. Same formula we will use. 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. When you solve, students, what you are getting? Simple calculations you will do. 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon 30. So F value you are getting 30 centimeter. So is it positive? Yes. So the image is a virtual. F will be is equal to minus 30 centimeter. The lens is a diverging or concave. Okay, student, what it will become? It will become minus 30 centimeter as the image is virtual. Okay, image, whatever you will be getting will be a virtual image. Okay, so I hope whatever we have done today, you have understood it. You will solve the sums in your notebooks, okay, and do the calculations. Okay, students, so we'll meet in the next presentation with the new lesson. So thank you, Sai Ram. Take care.